Okay, we're just going to have a look at lighting a couple of the stoves. And do this one, which was one of my original ones in the Ultralight kit, which has a range of holes around the rim and the inner, which is a penny pressurised one. So, using a penny there. We'll be using the priming pan. Now all that is, it's literally a lid, as you can see, of a tin, which I use that way up, which may seem odd because that way's obviously got a lid there, but that actually keeps it off the ground. It means that it's not in contact with the cold ground, so it doesn't lose the temperature. It's the method has got to be boiling to vaporise and work efficiently. So got a little 1 ounce cup here. This is actually for anybody who doesn't have one of these. Most bottles of say Night Nurse, that kind of thing, come with a little 1 or 2 ounce measuring cup. In fact, my 2 ounce measuring cup did come from a bottle just like that. Well, 1 ounce measuring cup, this one's actually from one of those fabric whiteners, the sort of OxyClean kind of things, and it's one of the dispensing cups with the handle. I've just chopped the handle off, and it just happens to hold exactly 1 ounce, which is really handy because I tend to work in 1 ounce measures with these stoves. Most of them will hold 2 ounces, but 1 ounce tends to be enough for boiling the small amount of water that I use at a time. So we'll pour that in, give a little bit aside, which pour down the side of the stove and onto the priming pan, and then it's a matter of popping the penny over there and igniting it. You're probably not going to be able to see that very well, but what this does is it ignites the meths in the priming pan. I'm just going to see if I can zoom in on that for you. There you go, you can just see that igniting. Now you see at the moment the flames look quite fierce. That's because the meths in the priming pan is boiling. That's incredibly fierce at the moment, crikey. The meths in the priming pan is boiling, is still burning, so it's boiling the meths inside the stove. Now you'll see once that burns away, the flames on the stove will actually simmer down to a more respectable level. And what it does is the heat from that maintains the heat in the can, and it keeps the meths boiling, it keeps it vaporising. There you go, now you see that steadying down as the priming pan's burnt down. Burns with a nice blue flame, as you can see there, and that works great for any kind of narrow pot, especially a tin can type pot. The one with the outer ring works in exactly the same manner. You use the priming pan, it's just that the flames come out to the side. One of the great things about this kind of stove is it's very easy to blow out. So once you've boiled whatever you need to boil, just take the windshield off. And I will say as well, a windshield with an alcohol stove is essential. If you're working outdoors, I mean, even if it's still and there's no wind, a windshield, because the air is cooler outside, the can cools quicker and the stove won't burn as efficiently. If you enclose it with a windshield, it will keep reflecting that heat back in and it will maintain the temperature. It will be much more effective. I'm going to show you this one here. Now this is the Mini Bowl Design BIOS stove by Tinny, that Mini Bowl Design. Same principle. I'm going to use an ounce of meths. The real beauty of this stove is it's such a bottle to fill. You just pour it in, you can just pour it in straight from the bottle, and it's absolutely great for that. And then ignite it, simple as that. Now I'll zoom in so you can actually see it when it blooms. Now it will prime just fine. You'll notice if you watch any of Tinny's videos that he actually uses a wick priming system on the outside. It'll prime just fine like this, it just take a little while. Because it's quite a thick aluminium, because it's from one of the bottles, so it does take a little while to actually get up to temperature. and ignite the jets at the side and bloom. But yeah, it's not a bad little stove. It's great for wide pots. It's not so great for narrow pots. But yeah, it's pretty good for wide pots, and it will give you a nice fast boil. Unfortunately, because of the design, there's not really any controllability. So if all you want is a fast boil, it's fantastic. You can just see, there we go. You can just see the side jets starting to bloom now, like so. And then what you would do, I'll just sort of quickly show you, is you get your little V, pop that on there like that. Now this just gives you a little bit of an air gap, because I found that most cold pans just kill the flame. And I'm just going to get this steel pan here, pop that on there, and there you go. Gives you an idea of how that works. There you can see the flames there. So yeah, so for any wide pan, this little BIOS stove is great. It's small, it's lightweight, it's simple to use, it's practically foolproof. It's very, very strong when you with regards to pressure from the top. Although it could be squashable from the sides, of course. But yeah, it's not a bad little stove, but not really any controllability. But as basic stoves go, it's pretty good. I'm just going to bring you over here because I want to show you, as I've already explained how the principles of an alcohol stove. What happens is the alcohol doesn't ignite itself, it's the gases that it exudes, and what happens is the alcohol boils and the up and out through the jets, and they ignite, and there, if I zoom in a wee bit there, you can actually see that meth's boiling away quite merrily in there, feeding the jets up the sides. Of course, all stoves have their upsides and the downsides. The upsides of the BIOS stove is it's a quick boiler for a wide pot. The downsides are it's hard to extinguish. You need something to actually cover the whole thing to starve it of oxygen. You can't just really blow it out like you can with many of the other alcohol stoves. And it is really quite inefficient, to be perfectly honest. I'll say it's great. It's a great little standby, and it's for the size and weight. It's, you can throw one of those in your kit, and if you have a wide pan, you need a quick boil one, then it's ideal. I'll just show you that one igniting. Light it in the middle there. Okay, so you can see that one burning away merrily, and eventually it will heat the pan to such a point where it actually starts to vaporise the alcohol, which will then come out of the jets, and the jets at the side will ignite. You can help these along if you wish by putting them on a priming pan and actually putting a bit of priming fuel around there, but to be honest, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. For the actual time you'll save, you're using extra fuel to prime it anyway, so there we go. Takes a little while, but then all of a sudden you get a pop, and there you go, and you can see the meths in there boiling away merrily. You can probably hear that too.